Hi Connelly Clan family, are you guys really wanting to save money on your grocery budget? Because I know I am. And I think everybody out there probably does. So today we are going to talk about some meatless meal ideas to help save you some money at the grocery store. This first one, you might be able to call it meat, but I will say that it is still super cheap, and that is tuna. So tuna sandwiches. Now I have a lot of kids that like them, and I have a lot of kids that don't like them. And so this one for us is kind of normally used as a lunch because at lunchtime the kids kind of have just whatever they want, and at dinner I like for all of us to eat the same thing. So we usually use tuna sandwiches as a lunch, unless we're going to make like a different kind of sandwich, and we could make two kinds for dinner. But so tuna sandwiches is one of our meatless meals. Grilled cheese sandwiches. Now, sometimes we will put ham on our grilled cheese sandwiches, but normally grilled cheese does not come with meat on it, and using things like tomato soup to go with it can just fill people up a little bit more. So you could do tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches, which would be a great meal idea, and you could do that for lunch or for dinner. Also, we have bean dip. Now you could do like bean and cheese burritos, which we have that on our list, but also you could do bean dip. So at this restaurant we go to here in our area, it is called LB's, and they do this amazing bean dip, and I have no idea how they make it, but I tried doing my own version of it, and basically it was refried beans, and then I put enchilada sauce in there and mixed it up, and then you top it with cheese, and then you put it in the oven for like at 350 for, let's say, 15 or 20 minutes, and get all that cheese melted on top. And it was really good. The kids, I didn't have one kid complain about it, and they ate it with chips, and they just loved it. And so that is another really good meatless meal idea. And using beans, you know, that goes a lot farther, and it is filling. Then we have butter garlic noodles. Our kids, like, this is one of their favorite things, is butter garlic noodles, and so they request this a lot. Now, I'm not like a super fan of doing pasta with just some butter and garlic on it, but I will say that it does taste pretty good, and it is actually one of Sean's favorite meals too. And so we will do this at least a couple times a month. And so we just take like whatever pasta noodles you have on hand. So it could be the bow tie, it could be, we do the penne a lot, or I mean you could just do regular spaghetti noodles, and then you cook them up, and then you just melt butter over them. Usually they're really hot, so you just put the butter in there, it melts, and put a little garlic and like garlic powder and then salt, and that's it. And that's so easy, very little ingredients. So that is another really good idea, and that would be for a dinner, I would say. We usually make enough to have leftovers, so that way the kids can have that at lunch too if they want. Spaghetti. Now, a lot of people I know put meat in their spaghetti. So a lot of times it's like Italian sausage, or it's like hamburger, or like meatballs, and we have done all of those. The kids are not very fond of the Italian sausage, and so we steer clear usually of that. They sometimes are okay having it with hamburger in it. They prefer to have it just the noodles and the sauce, and for some reason our kids just really like things simple, which makes it easier for me. But you know, I tend to like things a little bit more complex sometimes, and when I make meals like that, no one eats them. And so if I'm going to make a more complex meal, it has to be something where I can do sides. Like for instance, tacos. When we do tacos, I will, you know, everything is separate. So you can put on your own sour cream, you can put on your own cheese, you can put on your own salsa, and because everything is separate like that, the kids will eat those because they can choose what goes on it. if I make something that has all this stuff in it, yeah, they have a really hard time eating things that have a lot of ingredients. And so it's hard because if I want to make that stuff, I'm going to end up with a lot of leftovers and a lot of kids that won't eat the leftovers, which makes it hard. And that to me is just a waste of money too. So our next idea though is cheese pizza. We have been making a lot of homemade pizza. So simple. I'm a little scared. I have never been like an amazing chef, and so I've always been a little skeptical of myself in the kitchen. And the more I cook, the older I get and the more I do it, the more confident I get in myself. But it's still like doing this homemade stuff. My grandma did it all the time, and I watched her in the kitchen, and she was amazing, and she made really good meals. But I'm really afraid, I feel like, and so we did the homemade pizza dough, which is similar to like homemade bread, and oh my gosh, it turns out so good. The kids do it, which means I feel like it's so easy, and just it turns out amazing. So we've been making our own pizza dough and using that to make our own homemade pizza, and it has been turning out so good. So we have a couple kids that only like cheese pizza, and then the rest of them usually like pepperoni. But they'll eat cheese pizza. And so if we wanted to go meatless and do a cheese pizza, we could do that, which is a good idea. That would be a good dinner too. Then we have our 7-layer dip. And 7-layer dip actually does not have hamburger in it. One time I made it, and I made it with hamburger because I just assumed it was in it. And I looked at the recipe, and it did not. And so it's made with like beans and guac, and it does. It has 7 layers, so it does have 7 things in it, but it was so easy. And now my kids were not like really fond of it, and so we had quite a bit of leftovers, but it still is a great meatless meal idea, and then you eat it with chips, but Sean really liked that, and I thought it was okay, and so we may make it again. I feel like sometimes the more I make things, the more the kids tend to start liking them, or like more of the kids will start liking them, just because they kind of have to get used to those flavors and that meal. And so sometimes it just takes time. The next one is salads, and this is a big one that we do for lunch. Our kids love salad, and usually we don't make them very complex. We make pretty simple salads, like we just do lettuce with some bacon bits, which I know is meat, but you don't have to do the bacon bits, and we do dressing, and we will put like seeds on it, like maybe sunflower seeds, or I use the pepitas, and those are really good. And so we just make fairly simple salads, and then the kids really like those, and so we have done those for dinners sometimes. A lot of times you just have to have quite a bit of lettuce to go, or to feed like our whole family, but those are like a really good lunch idea that could be meatless. Then we have French toast. Now, I don't really consider eggs meat, but they are an animal product, but we have our own chickens. Now, I do know egg prices are going up as well as everything else, but it has been really nice for us because we have our own chickens, and it really doesn't take much to have your own chickens. Now, if you live in a neighborhood, some neighborhoods will even let you have them in your backyard, and they just take like a little coop, and they're super easy, I feel like, to take care of. It's no different than like, I feel like, cleaning up after a cat. You have the litter box, and you have to clean that out, and same thing with the coop. It just needs to stay clean, and you have to just like let them out every day and put them away every night, and it has been really good for the kids, and we have had so much fun having our own chickens. Recently we just got 3 more, and we are planning on getting more once we get back to Texas. And so having our own eggs, though, they are so good, like way better than the store-bought eggs. So using the eggs for the French toast, but that is another meatless idea, and the kids love French toast, obviously, because it has a lot of syrup on it. I mean, what kid doesn't love a lot of syrup? So French toast, we'll make that for dinner sometimes. We'll make like French toast with sausage and eggs, or we'll make French toast just like by itself, or maybe with an egg. And so if you're gonna go meatless, you could just make it by itself, and that would be a great idea too. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, really. Next, baked potato bar. We do this probably once a month. The kids really love baked potato bar because they get to pick what goes on their potato, and they love being able to choose their toppings. So we'll do chili, and I know chili does have a little bit of meat in it, but the cans of chili are still pretty cheap. And then like we'll do the queso dip, and we'll do the shredded cheese, and sometimes we'll set out the bacon bits if we have them. We also will do a sour cream. Some of the kids just like butter and salt and pepper on it, and so you can really have them so many different ways. So we do baked potato bar, and the kids really like that. Next, nachos. Now you could do meat nachos or meatless nachos. Nachos, I feel like, come in so many different ways, and really you can put a lot of different things on them. Again, this is one of those where the kids can pick their toppings, so we'll set everything out, and a lot of times the kids will like having when we do meatless nachos, we will do the queso and the shredded cheese and the salsa, and then what else? We do olives on there, and we never really do guac, which I love guacamole. I used to hate it when I was a kid, and I love it now. So, but there's all kinds of things I feel like you can put on nachos, and you can make them as simple as you want, or you can make them a little bit more complex. Again, our kids like them simple. Usually it's just cheese, or maybe cheese and olives, or some of them will have just cheese and salsa. So they make theirs pretty simple. And then we have rice bowls. Rice bowls are a good one. You could do rice with just like some veggies and some soy sauce, or you could make like your own teriyaki sauce and put that over there. You could do, I really love broccoli in mine. Now, most of my kids hate broccoli. I have one kid, John, he loves broccoli, and I think Lily really likes broccoli. They'll both eat broccoli plain, but the rest of the kids are like, yeah, no thanks. But you could pick, like, you could have out different veggies for them to put in their bowl, and then whatever sauce you want. And rice is so filling, just like the beans, and so I feel like that is a really good idea for a meatless dinner idea. And then we have I don't know if you guys have ever, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of these, but Udon Bowls, and they used to have these, I think this is what they were called, Udon Bowls or Miso Bowls maybe, and they were at Whole Foods. Sean and I used to love going to Whole Foods, like pre-pandemic. They had so many different things you could have for lunch there, so we would like go maybe once a month. Sometimes we'd go once every other week and have lunch at Whole Foods. It was so good. And then we went, and like they just really didn't have a whole lot to choose from anymore during the pandemic. So we kind of stopped going, but we love Whole Foods. And they had like this area where they made these udon bowls, and I would get one of those, and that was really good. And I think they look pretty easy to make at home. So I have never tried it. But you know what? I might do that because they look good, and that would be another good meatless option. Calzones. Now you could add meat in your calzones, right? But you could also make them meatless. So you could just do like cheese, and then maybe you could put probably put like beans in there, or obviously you can tell I've never made them or homemade them. But that's one of the things that's on our list is the homemaking the calzones. Because we're making our pizza dough, I thought it would be a good idea to have the kids just make some extras, and when we can make calzones, they love like pizza pockets. And so you could do like a pizza calzone and add in your toppings, and you could, if you wanted to, like throw in pepperoni. Pepperoni seems to not be super expensive yet. I know it's more than it used to be, but it has not just like gone crazy yet. So that would be another good idea. You could do like a pizza calzone. We have pasta salad. So pasta salad usually has no meat in it, and then it just has like usually I think it's like a vinaigrette sauce over it. Now, I don't know if my kids would like that. We do a lot of pasta stuff, but I don't know if they'd like that vinaigrette sauce. I really thought about making it, and then I had it on my list, and then I was like, I don't think that they're gonna like that sauce. So I might have to try it. It's really discouraging when you make something for the kids and then no one eats it, and then like they still are hungry, so they have to eat, and then you have to try to figure out what you're gonna feed everybody because they didn't like what you made. And so I try to steer clear of things that I don't think they're gonna like. Soup, homemade soup. So I make a broccoli cauliflower soup. I used to make, it used to be broccoli and potatoes, which you could do, but then I thought, you know what, the cauliflower is similar to potato, and I wanted to sneak in some veggies, and so I sneak in the cauliflower, but I probably only have like 3 or 4 kids that eat it. Now, Sean's grandma showed me this recipe, and I have tweaked it to my own recipe at this point. It was so good. Like, she made it so good. So when we were at her house, she would make it and then she would let me have some. Oh, and I just loved it. So I love making this soup because it's one of my favorites. And because soup doesn't have very many calories in it, I always like having that. And then it's really good during the winter, especially when it's cold here in Nebraska, like super cold here in Nebraska. Homemade ramen. This probably isn't super healthy, but homemade ramen is another meatless idea. And I've never made homemade ramen. We just usually buy it at the store and the kids love it. But I just saw this actually. So I had the idea, I saw it online, and then I saw a video where somebody made this on YouTube, and it was one of their ideas. And I thought, that is a great idea because my kids love ramen, and I could make it according to what I want to put in it instead of not knowing what's in those, you know, seasoning packets that they give you. So I think I'm going to try this because I think the kids would absolutely love it. And so that is on my list of things to try, and it is meatless. Fruit salad. My kids love fruit salad. My kids love fruit. They eat fruit like every day. They love it so much, and they love making fruit bowls. Now, the problem with fruit is that when it's expensive, you know, when it's not in season, it's hard to feed so many people because it gets really expensive. And they have to have a lot of fruit in their fruit bowl to really fill them up. So sometimes the fruit bowls for us are like a better lunch option because, you know, you don't really, I feel like, fill yourself up as much as you do at dinner time to try to get you through the evening and the night. So I feel like fruit bowls for us are a better lunch option, but they are still a great idea. And if you have a smaller family and you don't need as much fruit, I think this would be great for a dinner idea. So the fruit bowls are great. We usually put a little bit of yogurt over the top of our fruit. So again, this is one of those where the kids can pick what goes in their bowl. So they get to pick their fruit, and then they get to pick if they want yogurt on it or not. And then sometimes we'll even sprinkle granola over it. I love granola over mine. Some of the kids like granola and some don't. So it is so nice when the kids can pick what they put in. And this is just another one of those things. Then we have homemade mac and cheese. We have made this multiple times. My kids, it's one of their favorites, and I really like that I know what goes in it. So we're not using, like, you know, powdered cheese. So we will make the homemade mac and cheese probably once a month. Emma loves to make it. It's one of her favorite things to make. And so that has no meat in it, and making it homemade yourself, you can control what goes in it, which is really nice. I like that. And then we have bean chili. So we just talked about chili on our potatoes, our baked potatoes. We do bean chili. And this way it's meatless. Now, normally when I make chili, I make it with meat, and I have tried it with turkey in it, and I have not looked at turkey prices here, so that may be another option, but I think it's headed in the same direction as everything else. So doing just a bean chili would be a good idea, and I feel like that would be really filling for a dinner. So, and one of the things I love about that is you can do it in the crock pot, and the crock pot is like my favorite kitchen tool in the whole world. We use the crock pot all the time. Then we've talked about pizza, but what we haven't talked about is some of the alternative things you can do. You can do like a pizza casserole. You could do like the pizza calzones we talked about. You could do, I found this thing that has, it's like biscuits that you put in a pan, and then you put your toppings over that and your pizza sauce over that, and so the biscuits are really filling. You could do so many things, I feel like, with the pizza theme. So we have that down as a meatless dinner. And the last thing is cheese bread. My kids love cheese bread. they really just kind of love bread in general. And so doing cheese bread. Oh, and you could do like butter and garlic bread, and then you could do like the butter and melted cheese over the top, and you could do all the different kinds of cheese. We've got mozzarella, we've got Parmesan, we've got the shredded cheddar. Like there's so many different options, I feel like, with that. And really you could do that as a dinner, and that would be really filling, because obviously bread is really filling, as well as potatoes and beans and rice. Those are my ideas. I actually had the kids sit down with me and help me make this list. So some of those ideas came from the kids. So that is our list of meatless meal ideas. Some of them lunch, some of them dinner. I would be very interested to know what you guys make. Do you have anything different than I have? I racked my brain trying to come up with this, the kids and I both. And so we have, I feel like, a lot of meatless meal ideas. But is there anything that you guys make that I didn't have on my list? Because maybe I want to add it to my list. So I would love to know. Now it is time for Emma to start cooking dinner. And so we have something really fun for you guys tonight. So I'm going to go get her and we're going to start cooking dinner with you. All right, Emma is cooking dinner tonight. She's been doing that a lot for Mom lately. When there's a new baby, sometimes things get busy around dinner time. So what are you making again today?
Something similar to what you had at the boiling pot.
Yeah, actually you're right. It was like the boiling pot. It's a sheet pan dinner that we're gonna make, and it's Southwest style. So, what do you have here?
Potatoes.
Okay.
3 different types.
Yep.
Shrimp. 12 things of corn that we will cut in half and make 24 things of corn and kielbasa.
And kielbasa. And then we're going to throw in some spices in there to spice it up. Probably some Lawry salt, pepper, and some Southwest salt. And, okay, that's pretty simple actually. Really, not a lot of ingredients. Are you ready to get started?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So I'm having Emma just drizzle the seasoning and stuff over this, and then I'm gonna see if I can find something. So normally I would use like a basting brush, but we left ours in Texas. And so, unfortunately you just can't think of everything that you're gonna need. So I'm gonna see in the drawers if I have anything to use that'll make it a little bit easier. Otherwise we're just gonna have to kind of mix it up after it cooks.
Is the corn ready?
Let me see. I think that's ready. Okay, so the corn and the shrimp on the top are definitely ready. We're gonna take that one out. We're gonna move the bottom pan to the top and let that cook for just a little bit longer. Ooh, that looks good.
Okay. Oh, this one's heavy.
Yeah, heavy.
And how long?
Let's do 5 minutes. Okay, timer went off. Let's see if it's done. Ooh, yum.
I think that's ready.
I think that's ready. You know what we need to put on there now?
What?
We need to put some butter on it. Melt some butter.
Oh, melt some butter. Oh yeah, that would be.
That would be really good. Okay, we've got some of the kids sitting here, and some of the kids are sitting down at the table down there. What do you guys think about it?
Oh, very good. I already ate all my corn.
You already ate all your corn?
Only this.
Okay, what do you guys think of it over here?
I'm eating like a horse.
You're eating like a horse?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. Christian, what do you think? He's having a hard time with his corn on the cob. Do you need Mama to take that off?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah? I thought maybe he could pick it up and eat it, but maybe
I like
not.
the whole entire dish except this.
You don't like the cut up potatoes? Those are just like what we had the other day. You don't like them? But the rest of it was good? All right.
I guess it's not seasoned enough.
I love them.
You like it? Oh, and you're Mr. Picky, so you like it. That's a good thing.
I already said in one of our videos.
I know, you are Mr. Picky. All right, Emma, thank you for cooking dinner tonight. I think it was a success. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you like it? All right.
Down to go.